And we are live.
Hey everybody, it's Ultra Podcast Z. By the way, you guys don't know this, but before we go live, JD counts us down, and there's a scene that sticks out of my head all the time because I used to fucking love Wayne's World when I was a kid. There's a scene in Wayne's World.
That every time JD does that, I just see that Wayne's when they're about to fucking
and they were
go live on TV, right?
Because they were counting with us. Like,
Every
stop that!
time.
Like, stop doing that, guys! Because they would be like, five. Oh, you can't see my mouth, but they were like 5. And they kept. So yeah, there's a scene from Wayne's World where they were making fun of the countdown thing. It sounds weird. Watch the movie. I think it's free on most services these days, so go watch that one, and you'll see what we're talking about. Have you ever seen that movie, JD?
I think I've seen scenes from it, and that's why I do the countdown and stop at 3.
Yeah, because I mean that is a real set thing. No joke, it really is. Because you just in case you don't like bleed the audio for whatever reason, but yeah. We never addressed that. This has been going on for like over a year now, obviously, since JD's been doing this. But yeah, I decided to talk about it right now. Anyways, I'm Manuel, leader of ADJ Connections. Tonight we're talking music stuff, and Warren's here again. Warren, introduce yourself while I open up the chat.
What's up, guys? My name is Warren, aka Frederick Badman, aka Dad Dude, but not Dad Dude, and aka Too Many Names McGee. And yeah, I'm here back again. I'm usually on the gaming stream, which is tomorrow, Wednesday, and then I'm also our DM for D&D on Friday. But here we are, or here I am.
No, you could be the royal we or whatever. Here we are, Brock. Anyway, yeah, it's been a week. A lot of good stuff happened. If you follow ADJ Connections, we just released a Pixie interview. They're a K-pop group that JD interviewed with Daikon down south in Atlanta. That's my Atlantan accent, by the way.
That was not a fucking. He tried. This guy tried. He's
in Atlanta.
You can tell he's never
in Atlanta.
lived in Georgia.
I can't even really do the act because like Ren has a bit of it, and I'm trying to mimic the way when Ren, because Ren doesn't really have one, but she'll do it, and yeah, it didn't work. Ignore me. But yeah, so everyone go check that out. Little plug. Also, if you want access early to the rest of the AW interviews and more, patreon.com/ADJ Connections. We don't promo that enough, but I think 3 of the others, like not just Pixie. Pixie was up there for the about a week, but 3 of the others are up there right now also until those are released publicly. And I think 2 of them will be up soonish publicly. So if you can't support us, then just wait. You'll see everything. But if you want to see early, yeah, you can. Yeah, it's funny because who knows? Sometimes some of these interviews never get published. I've mentioned this before, but there's like 2 on the Patreon that literally exist only on the Patreon because they never got the last approval. So I'm like, oh, I guess this is just for you guys.
You can't do anything with like. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And there's
you just can't do anything with it. You can't really.
And there's some interviews, not to keep plugging the Patreon, but we never talk about it. There are some interviews that on the Patreon version of the interview, because it's a different part of the site that's like not listed. On the Patreon version of the interview, there'll be videos because I'll even edit them and I'll make sure the audio is good. I'll send them like, oh, this all looks great, but can you like lose the video? And I'm like, oh, oops. And that's happened several times. Like I think there's a Kaho interview, like the most recent one we did, like at ALA, I think, before the pandemic, that is only written for everyone. But if you're a Patreon, you can see the video. To be fair, that one, because the video was a little wonky, no, it was an AX because we did it outside the JW, which looks nice. But there was like every so often you hear a car honk because the fucking parking's right there. So, oops. Anyway, music. So we on the video games thingy, we have we've been doing this thing every couple weeks where we talked about our favorite no skip albums, and there's kind of like spread from there. So we're kind of gonna do that again, but we're also talking about just our favorite music in general. Honestly, there's a lot to talk about, and I wanted to segue because like the Video Game Awards nominees got announced yesterday. I forgot exactly when. And
oh, did they?
First of all, it's the same, and I know this is the way it is in most award shows, but it's kind of weird to see it in gaming too. The same fucking 5 or 6 games are nominated for like everything. I'm making up. There's God of War, Horizon, Elden Ring, and some others I'm forgetting.
Xenoblade Chronicles, Stray,
Xenoblade. They're nominated.
Immortality, I think is one.
Nominated for everything, and what annoyed me was when I looked at the music, and it's the same game still, and I'm like, does anyone really like the music from Elden Ring? Like, seriously?
Yes.
Oh,
music in Elden Ring, no, I'm just saying, like, Elden Ring's music's pretty fucking legit.
Thank you.
Like,
no, Trombone Champ should have. I did look up the indies, because the indies is where things get interesting, and those things. Sorry, because Terrence mentioned.
Yo, how about Modern Warfare 2 though?
Fuck Modern Warfare 2. Is that the one that has that fucking? I've never played these games. All I know is the imagery. Is that guy with the fucking skull hat thing on, the fucking Punisher-esque? It's not Punisher, but you know.
We should edit that cover and just put Manuel's mask on there.
I bump Elden Ring in the streets. It's funny because, like, I guess Elden Ring's not a good example because of what I'm gonna say next.
Like, Elden Ring's legit. Like
it used to always bother me when some video games end up with like some of the quote unquote like, you know, getting nominated for the best music, and like, okay, this is like a big weeb, but like. And it's funny because like I just knocked on Elden Ring, so I guess it doesn't make that much of a weep. But like, in my opinion, there's a huge difference between Western and Japanese music in terms of video game music. Not so much these days, as much, but like there was always this huge thing, like even from day one, like a lot of Western scores try too much to be like movie scores, and I feel it doesn't lend well to memorable tracks. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just like, don't want to bump the Elden Ring opening, but I'll fucking play the East 9 soundtrack like till the fucking cows come home, because most of those sound like instrumental metal and like shit like that.
I mean, it just depends on like what you like. Elden Ring is
my video game music will always be when it's more like, yeah, I was about to say, like, I'm just
like modern, like more like, because Elden Ring's Elden Ring's music's kind of to it matches the whole game's on, like, you know, there's no electric guitar in there yet, you know what I mean? Look at them over here in fucking stone houses and shit.
The Elden Ring theme is like classic. I actually
Mary, I don't know how you like. It's kind of funny. Like I don't expect you to know. It's just funny that we played that game so much during the stream, and Manuel's just like, you don't remember anything.
I don't. I fucking can remember some of the fucking Wild Arms 2 music, because that the fucking battle song sounds like the fucking Attack on Titan thing, kinda. I know it's the way that it starts out a lot slower than that, but yeah.
You almost sang the fucking Saint Seiya song.
I did do Saint Seiya. I was gonna do Saint Seiya, but yeah, there's a lot of, I don't know. That's just me. The only reason I bring this up is just because I saw the things, and it made me think of, should we talk about video game music on this list? Because there was a time when I used to listen to the East soundtracks over and over and over again, and yeah, and I was like, yeah, exactly. And I ultimately decided not to. But like, there's like the East soundtrack, there's the Symphony of the Night soundtrack, there's like the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. That fucking, I would bump those songs like at home, like, you know, as a kid. I had a bootleg CD version I bought from like one of those anime stores in the mall that sold like bootleg CDs and DVDs and shit like that. I bought the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. I actually threw that away recently because I'm like, it's bootleg. I don't need this anymore. It's even kind of shit quality. It's kind of fucked up now because it's like old. So I threw it away recently. I should have kept it.
It's actually like the cover of it is actually Squall.
No, it's funny because like the covers of all these bootleg CDs would always look like, because they were scanned clearly and printed on, you know, on like low quality.
Like the prints are shit.
Yeah, they be blurry sometimes. It's like, what the fuck? Anyway, we're talking music. Let's talk. Let's start with some no skip albums, because I actually came up with several that I fucking forgot. And I'm surprised I did. So we're gonna jump into that first. JD, do you have a no skip album? And I know we didn't talk about we didn't even include you or start with you. Actually, we didn't say we'd include you, but we didn't say we'd start with you. But I thought it'd be funny to start with somebody different.
Let's have JD on it. Let's do it.
I've said most of mine that I can think of off the top of my head in the previous stream and chat. I'm definitely a proponent of American Idiot as a no skip album.
It's funny you bring that up, because American Idiot is definitely one of the ones that I wish I'd said right away. I have a funny-ish story about. It's not really that funny, but I have an interesting way I discovered American Idiot when I was growing up, because I was the right age to have heard it when it was new, but I didn't hear it when it was new. Basically, I heard it when what's the reporting for duty thing? Anyway, because the fucking bot wasn't working.
Yeah, and I fixed it.
Okay. Manuel was there when music was invented. Sorry, I'll tell my story again. But that reminds me of the new Bill and Ted movie, when they go back in time to get the band from various people. They get Jimi Hendrix and Mozart, not Mozart. I forget. They get some other people, but at one point they go way back in time to caveman-y days, and they get somebody who's beating on rocks. Was that me? Anyway, or was I there at that first concert where she was playing the homemade rock drums or whatever? But anyway,
Manuel was there, and he's just like, you should use intestines for strings on the. And they're like, what? How was that?
And yes, that is a true thing. Just for anyone watching it, they do use cat guts for violin strings.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Animal intestines. It's pretty good. Actually, not to segue too far, there is a guy that on YouTube that I fucking forgot his name. I think something Acker or something Acker, Acker, and he does a whole bunch. He practices a lot of classical guitar, and he had a segment, a video, which is the history of guitar. Fucking cool, and he plays them
with guts.
Yeah. He's just they're made of intestines.
Brandon Acker.
I promise we'll get back to
Brandon Acker.
I promise we'll get back to American Idiot, but it always upsets.
Let's continue.
It upset me when I was trying to get it. I had this instrument. It's an erhu, which is a 2-string violin, a Chinese 2-string violin, and I don't play it, but I'm not much of a fucking Chinaboo. I just have it displayed, being a Chinaboo.
Yes.
And I was gonna replace the bow, and the bow's made out of horsehair, but I couldn't fucking find one. And I found out there's a whole thing about vegan instruments, because typically an erhu is made with snakeskin and horsehair for the bow, and and I think the one I have is snakeskin, which I guess is illegal, by the way. Don't come after me. But yeah, it's hard to find a bow that's still made out of horsehair, and I'm the horse is fine, hopefully, maybe, but I'm the horse probably didn't die from this. Fucking give me my horsehair. Anyways, if PETA, don't come after me. If I offended anyone, I apologize. Give me horsehair. Anyways, American Idiot.
This guy over here trying to save his own ass.
I'm sorry, but also give me my horsehair. Manuel's canceled again. Somebody cancel me. But anyways, American Idiot. I was the right age to hear it when it came out, but it wasn't until I had this girlfriend around 2009 ish. And sometime around then, and she introduced me to American Idiot. I had never really heard it, and the way she introduced me to it, we were at a Target, and they had Rock Band Green Day, I think it's Rock Band Green Day, and it was on clearance for $3. And she's all "Oh, you have to buy this! You have to buy this! I want to play it." So I took it home, and all I really knew from Green Day, the last thing I heard from them was Warning in 2000-ish. And I took it home, and she was we already had Rock Band at home, but we didn't have Green Day Rock Band, so we put it on, and she's all playing it, and I started hearing American Idiot. You can even play the whole album straight through. That's a mode, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I think you need to import DLC from one of the other games just for
I think that's
reasons.
It's funny because I think you have to pay for the second album. What's the second album called?
21st Century Breakdown.
There you go. Because eventually I bought the DLC, not because of her. I think she's already done with the game, because I was so obsessed with American Idiot. And then I think this was around the time when the musical was like doing its tour and it was coming to LA, and I was like, I have to see the fucking American Idiot. So yeah, now I'm obsessed with American Idiot, not because I heard it, even though I was the right age for it, but because of Random X.
But
she's an
Manuel,
X now.
if you want to see the American Idiot, you can just look in a mirror.
Wow, that was a good one. Fucking Warren, what's it?
Good thing my people don't have a country. Ho. All of a sudden, like the government comes after me, and they're like, "So you're not a citizen?" Eh? A no skip album. Why does it have to be me? You want? Okay, you know what?
I'll go next if you don't want. I'll give you time. There's one that I was surprised. But I already kind of said American Idiot. I won't repeat that one. But there's one I'm surprised I didn't mention, and it's Prince's Purple Rain. That album, I fucking love that album. I used to play that nonstop. All the songs are great. It's funny because like the first half are like singly type songs, I don't know how to say it, and the second half is a bunch of live songs like Baby I'm a Star, fucking I can't remember what the other one is, and then Purple Rain itself. And it's weird, there's like live tracks. Fucking Purple Rain itself is fucking amazing. Like it's funny because like every so often that song gets memed. I remember there was an AX where I think we started the whole watching movies at con things because I played Purple Rain when I was like fucking drunk and I wanted to watch the movie. But that whole album's amazing. Computer Blue, Darling Nikki, which apparently most people will know about because the Foo Fighters cover. And of course, Darling Nikki's amazing because when I was a fucking kid hearing that album, like, look how edgy it is. Prince talked about, and mind you, the album's like 10 years old by this point, more than that. It's like, Prince is talking about some girl masturbating with the magazine or whatever. Like, look how cool that is. But yeah.
Sometimes,
it's a great album. Oh, When Doves Cry, I Would Die. I Would Die for You, the other live track I mentioned at the end. I forgot about that one. When I like how I mentioned this album and all the great songs, Let's Go Crazy and everything like that, the beautiful one, but I did not mention When Doves Cry. Fucking When Doves Cry slaps.
I was just like, what, Manuel?
Dun.
No, but there's like bangers on there though. There's like hella bangers on that album.
Yeah, there's that song that's like him and Apollonia. I forget what the fuck it's called. The fucking Take Me With You. That's the one it's called. Where it's like her singing too. And yeah, it's a great album. There's actually a lot. I used to be like a huge fan of Prince back in the day. Honestly, I still kind of never really dropped out of that. I just listen to other things. But like
that's not cool no more. I'm just kidding.
About masturbation with books. But yeah, there's it's a great album. Also, just throwing it out there, there's a lot of other no skip albums in Prince's catalog. I'm a huge fan of Graffiti Bridge, which is the soundtrack to the sequel movie. I'm a huge fan of like I think it's called Rave into the Year the Year 2000 or something like that. I forgot. Joy Fantastic. The concert was called Year 2000, and that's the album he did like in 1999. That was great. Oh, 1999 is a great album. Fuck. Anyways, that's it. Purple Rain, though. Purple Rain is my main one. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'm gonna have my album covers up here. So JD's not doing that, but yeah, I'll have it out there. Anyways.
Well, yeah, you guys didn't tell me. If you told me which albums you picked,
I know.
I've gotten the artwork.
Oops.
Okay. Well, I was just trying to like. I'll just mix it up. Asian Kung Fu Generation's Soulfla.
Oh, I know that one.
That's the one with Rewrite.
Yeah.
The one with Haruka Kanata, which is the opening for the Naruto opening. And there's there's a whole bunch of like actually there's this. I don't know if you remember, Manuel, but whenever we go to when we do karaoke, I always sing. There's a song on that album that I really like. This is Kai Gondori, and it's this record throughout it's fucking great.
Oh, that's the one with
There's bangers everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that song.
Rewrite.
Oh,
and
Rewrite?
No, I meant re. The one that was used for erased. Which is a different song than Rewrite.
And Rewrite, yes.
Because Rewrite's one of the singles, I think, right? It's not from something. But it's a good album. It's funny. Asian Kung Fu Generation in general is a band I always wanted to get into, and I just never did. Not because I don't like their music, I just never had the time.
Well, I mean, also, like at the moment, like to be honest, like I had to like actually re-listen to it. Not now because like I've already been established. But I had to re-listen to it again. Like they actually did the whole. They actually did a whole live session on YouTube of this record, and I was like, this just still slaps. Like Asian, like I'm so happy. Like, did you guys get to see that? Like, I got to see them. Did you guys get to see them when they came to when it was Anime Expo? That shit was so lit, yo.
Well, to be
That
fair,
shit
they
was
were
so
at
lit.
Anime Expo. They just happened to.
Yes, it's during
They had
Anime Expo. They planned it out so well. I'm not gonna lie, they planned it out so well. So like, yeah, Asian Kung Fu Generation. This is like the album that we that like, because we watched Naruto a whole bunch of times. So I was just like, oh, what's the song? And then eventually, it's like Asian Kung Fu Generation, and just went down the rabbit hole.
I remember like
and this is where all their slappers come from.
I wish I'd gone to that show. Not to give too much in the behind the scenes things, but like we had it wasn't done through the person we used to get through, but it was run by somebody I know. I mean, like, promoted, I mean to say. And they're like, oh, do you want to cover it? And I'm like, oh, that's during AX. And we actually did have a legit full schedule. That was like before the pandemic and the before times. And we had a legit full schedule. And I think don't get me wrong, we had the nights free, but Manuel got to have some fun. So like, so yeah, I was just like, I was like, man, I do not want to go to this show. And it wasn't at fucking LA Live. It was at some venue down,
No, it was.
Oh, was?
There's two dates. Well, the first date sold out, and then LA Live, the one that's right across the street from the.
Okay, well, I'm just fucking stupid then. I have no.
Where the theater and it's where you guys, yeah, just where the Novo. There you go. Not LA Live. It was in the Novo.
I have no excuse then. Okay.
So
anyway,
yeah, it was. Because we missed it. Me and Leslie felt so bad. And they're like, they have second tickets over. Like, fucking buy that shit. Buy that shit. And like, I was so excited that when we like, I literally printed out the ticket on fucking on foil, not foil paper, but like shiny paper, like not shiny, but just kind of like glittery paper.
Fucking
because I just
it doesn't stick.
Like I didn't even take it with me. I just wanted it because I was like, fuck, this is so fucking cool. All right, continue. Are we gonna roll it to somebody else? JD?
Yeah,
again?
JD.
Or
give me a second. I'm looking just to make sure there's not one song I might skip on this album. But
I've had a lot of like I actually had a lot of that. Like I was I'm listening to this record, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah, later on, I want to talk about albums that are fucking awesome, but definitely aren't no skips.
Oh, never mind. Yes, this album is completely no skip, and it is Boston by Boston.
Boston?
Yeah.
As in
the band Boston. Their debut album.
Did they ever do another? I know it's a stupid question to ask, but I remember did they ever do another album?
First stage, second stage. They did more albums. It's just
of them. Oh, that's Asia.
That's Asia.
I started thinking Heat of the Moment. No, there's a band
not even the right size of a civilization delineation.
I was gonna say, well, there's too many bands like that. They fucking did. Help me out here. What's Boston's big hit?
More Than a Feeling.
More
than a feeling.
I don't know if you knew what I was about to do. I was about to do More Than a Feeling just to heat of the moment. Like more than.
No. You probably know them for More Than a Feeling.
Or Amanda. Slap. Yeah, that's actually a really good album. That's definitely a no skip album. I mentioned it in. I'll have my choice in a second, but I mentioned it for when I talked about Deep Purple. We talked about Machine Head. That's definitely no skip album. That's a special no skip album because the B-side to the single, which is usually included these days, is also a no skip song. So like, even the new version of the album is still great. Burn, and I know I kind of lied about that one because I said skip the instrumental. Yep. Like just oops. But I haven't.
Sorry, skip the instrumental.
I want to get a at the end because there's an instrumental at the end of Burn called A200, which I still say is not really a song. It's just them fucking around in the studio. I'm like, why was this on the album?
Okay,
I do want to talk about an album that it's not like the same kind of vein. They're like, what did you say? I want to hear your joke.
I was just saying.
Yeah, you're getting cut off by the background replacement.
But what I was saying was that I was just like, Deep Purple was the one over here, like making people like, man, I want to make a jam band. Yeah, They inspired the jam bands, and then
it's funny because, not to get too deep in the weeds here, Deep Purple was like probably my favorite band for most of my life. I wouldn't say that today though, unfortunately, just because I've discovered other music, but they still were for a long period of my life. But like, if you listen to the early stuff, they were definitely copying Vanilla Fudge, and they're a band that probably no one really knows. Fun fact: that Vanilla Fudge debut album was probably a no skip record too, but and then they started their own shit later on. But in a similar vein, I wanted to talk about an album that I was surprised I didn't ever bring up. It's Hawkwind Space Ritual, which I did a whole DTL on. The album fucking is amazing. I literally listened to this like from start to finish, and it's a live album technically. There's not a lot of cheering, thank God, because that would kind of take me out the moment. But it's a live album, has the classic lineup. There's a lot of songs on it that only exist on this album, so it's almost like, yeah, it's weird that there's songs that never had a studio version, and there's also a lot of spoken word and like weird instrumental parts. It's definitely a fucking get high as fuck, and it's legal in California. If you're anywhere else, I don't know, but get high as fuck. Put the album on. It's 2 discs, so maybe get it on like Spotify or something where you can just meld it together. Put the whole album on and just fucking go somewhere. Also, rest in peace, Nick Turner. He passed away on Monday. He was the saxophonist, flautist, and he also sang on a bunch. They're a weird band, Hawkwind, that they've always had a lot of members like that would like sing. So even on this album, you have Nick Turner singing, which is the one who unfortunately passed away. You had Dave Brock, the actual like leader of the band, singing. You had Bob Calvert, who also passed away in the 80s. Well, in the 80s, I mean to say. And then you had Lemmy, who also passed away, singing. So yeah, Lemmy was in this band. That's my my second no skip, Space Ritual. Please go listen to it. It's a great album. And be high. I mean, you don't have to be, but I honestly suggest to be high as fuck and play it loud. And turn the bass up, because it's like bass solos into that fucking slap.
Yo, all of a sudden everyone's like, "Shut the fuck up! What are you doing?"
And it's funny because there's some parts of the album where it's like literal noise. No, there's a song called Sonic Attack that literally I had this solo thing. And it's funny because now it's trendy to do this. I'm pretty sure if I do this now on fucking Bandcamp, I could sell that album I did. But I had this noise project that I had, ambient noise kind of thing, that was called Psycho X. And I fucking loved it was inspired by the song on there called Sonic Attack, where it's like a lot of spoken word shit, but in the background, like, there's all these weird noises. There's even a part where it gets like really, really, really fucking shrill and loud. And supposedly, like, the people doing the synths and whatever were all like, oh yeah, we were trying to make people sick. Like, if you were there live, we would like pull up some of the low end shit so that like it would make people vomit, like for real, like, you know, like one of those notes. Yeah, like, so yeah, that was me. That's my jam.
Just fucking murder me.
Murder me. What's your next one, JD? I meant Warren. I will pretend to be high. Yeah, you don't have to be.
Do EPs count?
Yes, I have an EP coming up too.
Mine. I don't think anybody knows them, but it's a band that I've been talking about I talked to you about it just like a little bit. There's this band called Speed, which is like a hardcore band, kind of like beat, like people. You guys don't know what beat down. It's kind of like, it sounds like tough guy music, and it pretty much is. It's like kind of like Pantera-y, like modern hardcore, and the EP's called a Gang Called Speed. And
I think you didn't mention that album, but you mentioned them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's Gang Called Speed, and what's actually really cool about them, and my brother's the one that showed it to me, was they have a music video called Not That Nice, and basically the whole entire reason why the band, I can't say the reason why they're put together, but the singer or the vocalist, he used to be a guitar player in this post-hardcore band. He's like, I like playing all that. We did, we're kind of we're pretty much successful, but I didn't feel like that represented me all too well. And during the COVID times, there's a lot of that, Stop the Asian Hate kind of thing. And he's actually, him and his brother are, I guess they immigrated from China to, I believe, Australia. And then they have another Asian guy playing on guitar. And and his brother's on bass, Bape, which is the singer. He's on vocals. They have another Asian dude that's on guitar, and then their drummer is actually I believe he's like a half Indian guy. So he's like, they're like, we didn't want to make an Asian band. It just happened that we're all Asian, and we just and that song, Not That Nice, is just basically talking about like, yeah, don't just because people are has a perception that Asian folks are not like dangerous or like not willing to do that. So basically, it all stemmed from that. My brother showed it to me. He's like, "Yo, I really like the message that's coming out. It's like a lot of positive shit, but at the same time, it's like it sounds really pointless to me. Beat down. It has the Game Called Speed. That EP has a lot of fucking riffs, so it's fucking heavy as fuck. So it's like it's kind of not counterintuitive, but it's like it's a positive message, but like really brutal. So like I listen to it as like when I'm like using on the punching bag and whatnot. But the really really cool stuff. Not That Nice. It's not for everybody. I wouldn't say that it's like, oh my god, it's like the most unique kind of music, but it fucking turns up the fucking heat and it gives me another gear.
Huh.
And fucking cool ass guy. Oh yeah, by the way, and Shaq saw them because they went to they had like a hardcore festival in LA, and then Shaq wanted to jump in there, but I guess Shaq's handlers did not want him to go in there and to get hurt. And then after their set, I think Shaq found them and they took a photo together. It's fucking hilarious.
That's kind of funny. That just reminds me, like, there's a lot of venues for obvious reasons that like don't allow you to jump off stage. I know that's not what Shaq would have done, but there's so many. I remember there was this one band called Palais Royale. It's funny because I fucking used to love them when they first came out. They have an album called Boom Boom Room, which I would say has some slappers on it, but the bangers on it, some bangers on it, but the whole album's not that great. But like now they're huge, and they were like one of the mid cards from like the When We Were Young festival recently. But anyways, like a modern emo group. But when they were really small, playing all these local LA shows, I used to love fucking going to their shows. But they started getting big, and they did this tour in Europe. And like most venues in Europe, I guess, don't let you jump from the stage. And they were like the fucking third opener on this tour. They were not headlining. They were not co-headlining. They were like the first band on, right? And they would fucking get on there, jump off the stage, and the fucking people would shut down the entire concert.
No, oh damn, that's serious. Holy shit!
It was so funny because like I was watching this tour like implode from the outside, and all their hardcore like fans were like, "That's so hardcore, that's so metal, review, so awesome." But I'm like, bro, this isn't a tour. Calm down. You're ruining it.
You're just ruining it for everybody.
Anyway,
I put it to the general chat if you wanted to take a look at the photo. It's hella funny.
Oh, the Shaq photo. I wanted to go to that. Sounded weird. Anyway, they're an interesting band. We're not there yet, but I would put them on, have some bangers, but don't put out really good full albums. That's a lot of people, unfortunately. It's hard to find 12 good songs like that, I guess, or however many you have. Now, I'm kind of going to cheat here and just mention a ton of albums at once. I think every album Malice Miser ever put out is a no skip album. I'm not sure if that's a hot take or not. I'm not sure if that's a hot take, but every fucking album they put out, and there's what was the first one called? The first one was, I don't remember, but it's the one that had Tetsu. It's the EP. That one's fucking a no skip EP. The next one is called Voyage Sans Retour. That's a no skip album in my opinion. Their third one is Merveille. It's another Frenchy something. They're trendy like that. And their last album was Bare no Seido. Those are all no skip albums. I actually prefer Bare no Seido, which is the one that has Klaha. But all those,
you're one of the very few.
I fucking love Klaha. Unfortunately, he's retired now, but yeah, he's fucking. I like the solo shit, which is actually very poppy, not VK at all. But yeah, fucking gacked Malice Miser though, like Voyage Sans Retour and Merveille. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing this like crazy. I don't think I've ever had to say them out loud before in my life. Those two albums are amazing. Illuminati, fucking No Pains, No Gains. There's a lot of really good songs on all of those. Au revoir. Also, cheating again. Mana's first two albums with Wadi Swa, Decent Infernal and Invite to Immortality, mad no skip albums. As a matter of fact, in Marty Small's Decent Infernal was one of the albums I feel that like changed Manuel's life. Like that's what got me into Japanese music. Like no, like full stop. Like I kind of heard, like see, I'm this much of an old weeb that I was around when that album came out, like 2002 or some shit, and I was like, dude, this is fucking amazing. I was a little disappointed when I found out they had no keyboardist and that all their keys are just a recorded tape when they're live, which is for a lot of bands. That upset me. Coming off my Deep Purple.
Oh, really? Manuel's like, oh no, why are you playing backing tracks?
No, yeah, I'm Eddie Trunk. If you don't remember that, Eddie Trunk very recently
Eddie
like,
Trunk, yeah, he
had a thing recently. He was like, oh, all these bands today they can't play live for real. They always have a tape on the background. But yeah, Marty Small's one of those. Like, and it's funny because if you hear that first album, the first album is full of like harpsichordy keyboards and shit like that. And it's like, bro, half your instrument, half your backing track is the fucking keyboards, and you don't have a keyboardist. What are you doing? But no, those 6 albums I just mentioned are fucking amazing. I know I cheated there, but the first 2 Marty Small albums and all the fucking Malice Miser albums are fucking amazing. It's funny because I'd probably offend people by saying I don't feel that same way about X Japan albums. I don't feel I Hide Your Face, Hide's album, I guess would be no skip. But Malice Miser is the one band I think that has there you go. I think that's the hot take. Malice Miser has a no skip catalog. That's my hot take. They have a no skip catalog. They don't have many songs though. They have those 4 albums and a handful of singles. So you don't have to go too deep. But yeah,
right. You just like, there you go, ankle high. It's like it's short but sweet. You know what I mean? It has like it's small but it has like a lot of like substance.
Where's Yuji naming their albums? Yeah, Yuji probably knows the name of that first album. I forgot what the name of that first album is. Oops. Oh, I think it's called Memoir. I just remembered now. It's called Memoir, the one that has Tetsu on it. Tetsu, that album was amazing because that album, Tetsu is a vocalist. He sounds like Japanese Robert Smith. I don't know how else to describe it. Go listen to Kyoko Tosora. Go listen to Kyoko Tosora, and you're gonna be all like, "Did Robert Smith learn Japanese and now he's singing for this band?" Because he fucking sounds like Japanese Robert Smith from The Cure. If you don't know who Robert Smith is, but yeah.
Thank you.
Did you know who Robert Smith is?
No.
Yes.
Anyway, JD, do you have another one before we go take it back to Warren?
Yeah, one more before I maybe go look up some others to see if I can find any. But for an EP, it's actually from earlier this year. I've talked about it a lot.
Nice.
Already. It's Shut Up, Get Happy by Demon Dice.
Oh.
It's just 4 songs. It's only like 15 minutes long. But it is just excellent from start to finish.
Dang, 4 songs.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up because I'm going to... Well, I'll let Ward have another one, but my next one's going to be a controversial one. And you'll know why. Anyways, Warren, what's a no skip one? Do you have another one?
Okay, well, this is pretty. You guys know Henri? Henri. She's part of this. She's like everyone's other. So everyone loves Maria Takeuchi as their like city pop like stand. But Henri's mine, and the album that is a no skip for me because it has bangers is Timely. Which is a very, very, I mean, it's pretty popular. Like everyone kind of knows. This is where this is where a lot of people's fucking city pop bangers come from. Like they have like Shyness Boy, that's a very popular one. Fucking Windy Summer, Remember Summer Days. There's quite a few. I Can't Stop the Loneliness, that's a really good one too. This album's really good. Like this is what made me stand her. Everyone's like Maria Takeuchi because of course that's how people's little gateway little gateway to city pop. But mine has always been Henri because I think they were making like some they like so before the city pop blew up. I just remember like one of our friends was just showing us like how they're doing like the remixes. Was it vaporwave shit? Is that what they call it? Like vaporwave or. And I was just like, what the fuck? Is someone on Remember Summer Days? It was like that was someone made a vaporwave version of it, and I was looking at YouTube and I was looking in the comments, and someone's just like, the original one's better. Just listen to that, and I did, and I was like, oh. I mean, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say like it's worse or better because they both have their own textures and flavors, right? But I was just like, yeah, like, and I listened to this whole entire record because I was like, fuck, why not? And this Timely, like Unre's Timely, is a fucking banger, and it has a lot of good vibes to it. A lot of fucking good vibes.
It's funny because I got into Honoré briefly, just listen to some albums. See, it's funny because I made it a point to not bring up any greatest hits albums, even though
Oh yeah, I didn't.
definitely, because that's cheating for starters. But definitely, there have been some as a kid growing up. Like, I didn't realize that We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll by Black Sabbath was not a real album when I was a kid. I was like, oh, this is the best album ever. But I'm like, oh, it's the greatest hits though.
Right, it's like that's why that's why it has bangers on it.
But yeah, shit like that. But I think I listened to it. I had an Honoré like greatest collection or whatever the fuck that I listened to, and I'm like, oh, I got to get more of a catalog, and I just never got around to it. See, there's a lot of artists that I wish I just had more time for. I should stop watching Game of Thrones in the background and listen to a bunch of new albums instead. But speaking of listening to new albums, now this is my weird one, because in my head, I think I even mentioned this last time we did this on the gaming thing. How long do you think an album should wait until you consider it a no-skip album? Apparently, JD thinks you could do it right away because he mentioned one too from this year. But in my head, I feel like you have to sit on it a bit. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But my new album. Oh, go ahead. I'm curious if you have.
No. I was just saying, like, for me, it's always like the first with your first listen to actually be like, okay, like if you don't like, for me, it's just like when it's undoubtedly like something that you don't want to skip at the first listen, because like I'm very much a person who's just like, if the first few things just don't catch me, then I was like, I could skip it and then come back later. But I think you're right. You'd have to go for like, I'd say like a second, like you'd have to go with the second run through.
So
at least like second or the third time at least, because you don't like absorb. Like there's some times when I listen to songs and I didn't notice something like I was like, fuck, I didn't even realize that bass line was even was bumping like that. Like I could hear it, but it's just like the fact that just like focusing in on it, like, holy shit, this song has like another, like, so much more layers to it now. You know what I mean? Like just another layer.
Listen to Space Ritual. Fucking Lemmy is just like literally playing his own shit on the bass. Like that fucker acts like he's doing guitar solos the whole time. But anyway, my so I've been listening to a lot of symphonic metal lately. I talk about this a lot, like, amongst my friends. And there's a band.
I thought I was your friend. I'm just kidding. Continue.
There's this band that I discovered earlier on. It's funny, I say discovered, but I always knew they existed because the bassist is actually somebody I kind of know from this band called Alvin King. And I don't just mean like, I love Alvin King too, but I mean like, I've interacted with him online a bit, like, because I just have. It's a long story, but anyways. So I knew that there was this other band he was in called Moonlight Haze. And also there was Alvin King did a live DVD, and there was a singer who was there as a guest, and she was a singer for this band called Temperance. And I remember after I heard that, I'm like, oh shit, let me go check out Temperance. And I'm like, oh, they fucking sound awesome. But then almost immediately after I found Temperance, the singer left and the drummer left. And I was like, oh shit, weird. Okay. And they're an alright band too. I'm not gonna get to them though. But then when I decided to look up Moonlight Haze, this bassist band, I found out that the people that left Temperance are in Moonlight Haze. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like this female-fronted symphonic metal group. And like, I decided to listen like as a lark. One of their then new songs is called It's Insane. It's called It's Insane. And I don't want to be one of those people who's always like, your music changed my life, like holding up the fucking sign or whatever. But I heard that song when I was like going through some fuck shit earlier in the year, right? And it's a great song. It's like, it's like, oh, shit's going bad, but it's insane, but it's gonna get better. The whole album's like that. And I was like, dude, this fucking album fucking rocks. And by the way, the album's called Animus. It's their new album that came out this year. The whole fucking album is amazing. Not only does it have like the uplifty type songs that I mentioned, like its main song is called Animus as well, like the title track, and it's based on the whole shit, I forgot what the saying is, but the Latin saying "mind over matter." Animus is in there somewhere, but I think animus, I assume, is the matter part. Also, there's a fucking horror song at the end called "Horror and Thunder," which fucking slaps for Halloween shit. You should listen to that. It's just a great song. Also, there's a song written based on fucking Neverending Story called "The Nothing." It's actually the opening track, and the whole album's great. It's a no skip album. It's a new no skip album. So I'm like, part of me wonders if I'll feel this way 10 years from now, but part of me is also like, no, I think this will stay there. This is like the boomer Manuel listening to Marty Small for the first time, you know, and like, this music changed my life, you know. So yeah, that's
I mean, it's okay to feel that way. It's just kind of cringe to show it, but like, you saved my life.
You mean all that symphonic metal you played all? Yeah, it's fucking Weston.
Damn, is that what Weston?
Yeah,
I think you guys had a fight. Remember in my comments?
Okay, because it's funny because I made a playlist of symphonic metal, and mind you, it was not just Moonlight Haze. They were on there a decent amount, but it was like Nightwish, it was Ad Infinitum, it was Amaranth, it was Temperance, Temperance,
Amaranth,
yeah, Amaranth.
Not his streamer.
Not.
I know.
But anyways,
Amaranth, Leslie. I mean, I almost called you Leslie. Manuel.
There's like all these bands on there, and then fucking to Wesley, they all sound the same. It's like, oh, it's this. I'm like, that's not racist. That's musicist. I don't know what that genre is. Also, fun fact about Moonlight Haze. I can't remember if it was me or Weston who the fuck said it, but at one point we were talking about the band, and I think I even showed her. So like I was talking about it with her too, but at one point we called the singer from Moonlight Haze Goth Molly because just because she's redhead, because she's redheaded, little gothy, and sings in the style that Molly would probably sing in. And as a matter of fact, Molly just discovered Delane the other day. She messaged me. She's like, "Oh, this sounds like the kind of stuff A to G would cover all in a nutshell, like the band Delane." And I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck? You're into symphonic metal now too?" Not to say like get the fuck out of here.
Manuel's all like, get out of here. I'm tired of people jumping onto my.
I'm a gatekeeper.
Yeah, Manuel's a gatekeeper. You weren't a real fan.
But I did show her Moonlight Haze. I'm like, look, this is the band. Like we call the singer Goth Molly.
Is Goth Molly? That's good. That's a good one. She does look. Definitely
get the band logo tattooed on your back. Fun fact though, the vocalist, she put Moonlight Haze together on her own, and on her Twitter she has a link where you could like book her to like appear on your album or your project. And she's actually been in a lot of other bands. She's in other bands concurrently right now. And I'm like, I should message her about her rates, and it's like I'll fucking like put her on I'll record a single just for this.
She was just like, how many bars you want? I was like, I want a whole ass song.
Let's do this, girl.
How many measures you want?
It's like, by the way, then I'll piss off Molly because Molly's like, why didn't you just ask me? Like, no, we need Goth Molly, not Molly. Anyway, that's too deep in the weeds there. Yeah, some of you watching it. Like,
Manuel over here.
I have a picture of Molly somewhere.
You should Manuel over here is like about to like ruin friendships and shit.
Anyways, we called it, and Molly got. Anyways. So what's your next one, Warren? Do you have anything new that you're into? Well, I guess Speed would be new. That EP came out. Speed is one. Yeah,
it came out. I think. Yeah, I think Speed. I think Game Called Speed just. Yeah, I think it came out. I don't remember when it's a game called Speed. Oh, because it's the yeah.
Oops.
June 24th. So
it's even more recent than mine. Mine came out like I think in January something. But yeah.
And mine came out the end of January.
Yeah, June.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the only reason I know that because I looked up the album for the interview we did, and I was like, oh. But yeah, damn. I guess we all had new ones.
Yeah. I mean, did you guys want to continue this, or do you want to segue into like other ones? Because we can segue to the other ones.
Perfect. Do you have an almost perfect that's not like a no skip? Like it could be a band. I have a couple like this actually.
I was just talking to Leslie about this too. The other like
the almost
like there's a lot of them, to be honest. Fuck. I don't know which one to choose. Because I feel bad because I like this band a lot.
Who is it?
And
Extra Japan?
I think
Is it
no,
Anthem? Fuck
it's
Anthem. I'm just
Anthem.
kidding.
Mhm.
Oh, it is Anthem.
Yeah, it's bound to break. Yeah, because they have a song. I like all their songs in there except this song called Machine Made Dog, and I just like. I'm not saying it's a bad song. I just don't like the you know. Dun, 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 dun. And then the chorus is like, machine made dog, machine made dog. I was like, all right, like I get it, I get the sentiment, but I was like, I don't like. I cannot do. I cannot do like I can listen to it. I just don't think that the chorus. I think that the chorus is just not that good. Not good. Everything else on there is like it's fucking tight. It's fucking cool. You know what I mean?
No, like I mentioned, like the A200 album I had like that. The fucking other shit I had like that. Pretty much everything I mentioned in that first episode of that we did the no skip albums. Those all had like, these aren't really no skips. So I'm gonna say them anyway. But yeah. Anyways, JD, do you have one that like didn't quite make it? Maybe.
Yeah, like I say, since I was kind of on the spot for coming up with these, I was mostly looking up. And one that I really wanted to put on, but I couldn't say because I basically didn't know two of the songs, was Hotel California.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I fucking love the song Hotel.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like the first side one, no skips. Side two, I'm not so sure on like two of the songs. I've never heard them.
There's you know how many albums, and it's funny because like you would feel that because obviously records haven't been a real thing for a while. I know that people are making records, but you don't think about that when you first make your albums. But like,
right, there's no more A sides or B sides.
there's so many times I feel where it's like, what the fuck happened to the second half of this album? And the perfect example is the one I want to say right now, Appetite for Destruction, the Guns N' Roses album. Songs 1 through 6 and then 9, because 1 through 6 is like welcome to the jungle, It's So Easy, Night Train, can't remember what else, Mr. Brownstone, Paradise City, and then there's crap, and then it skips to Sweet Child of Mine, and then there's more crap. And it's all like, what happened to the second half of the album? What did you do? Did you guys fall asleep? There's a song called Rocket Queen, which like it's just it sounds like trash. Sorry if Rocket Queen's your favorite Guns N' Roses song, but like what? And there's a song called I think that's the one that has You're Crazy. And there's an acoustic version of You're Crazy on their next EP, which sounds way better than the studio version of You're Crazy. And I think there's a song called My Michelle. And it's like, that sounds like somebody who was just drunk and writing, like saying nonsense in the studio, which they could have been. But it's like, what is this? And apparently some other Guns N' Roses bangers like Don't Cry and like November Rain were already written at this point. So I'm like, and I know maybe they didn't want to load it up with ballads, but I'm like, why the fuck did you put Maya Michelle and Rocket Queen on here when you didn't fucking put Don't Cry and November Rain? It's like, you're fucking up, guys. You're fucking up.
You're like, you should just cut those 3 songs.
And there's always there's a
3
few
songs that you said?
No, it's like, well, it's 4, I think, but yeah, honestly, you could shorten it because the album's kind of long. It was meant for CD, so it was like a 60-70 minute album. Fucking put 9 songs on there and then just leave You're Crazy because that's okay. It's just not the best version of that song. But yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you had an amazing first half of your album. What the hell happened to the rest? Oh man, and any other also rants, Warren?
Because I fucking. So I really love L Garden. It's a Japanese pop punk band, and they have this album called Bring Your Board. And there's like, I think there's 3 for me. There's 3 songs, more like 2 songs, but there's one specific song that I like don't really like care for. It's called Wannabes, and like it's the chorus that fucking kills me. He's like, we wanna be like Brad Pitt, we wanna be, and we're all wannabes. I was like, damn, I can't do it. And There's another song called "Dancing in the Circle." He's just like I could get with it, but I was just like, ooh, I don't need to touch this one that much. But it's wannabe. That one like "Dancing in a Circle" and "So Sad" is okay. I'm okay with that song. There's a song called "So Sad," but it's just like basically, it's the song basically it's a breakup about him like whatever he's waiting for his girlfriend to come back, but it's never coming back. And he goes, "I'm waiting for you, and I still think you're mine. Something, they'll never give up." But it's like it's not a bad song. Actually, like it's really catchy. It's just the fact that it's just like, man, you sounded kind of lame right now. But it's but like because it's just a little whiny. But I was just like, I like it. So yeah, bring your board. I mean, like I said, like Ellegarden, overall, their discography is really good. There's a few songs where I'm just like I could just pick out. And even the greatest hits, okay? They do have the greatest hits, and I'm just like, you guys picked the fucking right ones. Thanks. Like they picked the right ones.
It's funny you mentioned that song. It sounds a little whiny. There's a song called it's a similar title. It's a song called "Waiting for You" by Weezer. I don't know if anyone knows it. It's one of the B-sides to "The Great Life," which, by the way, "The Great Life" is one of my favorite songs of all time from an album that Weezer hate themselves. But fucking that song though, "Waiting for You," I love that song. It's like sounds like emo before emo existed. Well, maybe emo always, I don't know, like somebody could probably be like emo was around the 90s, I don't know, but this is like 97 or some shit. Also, there's a really good song on there because apparently Weezer was writing a musical at some point, and there's a song on there called "I Threw My Love Away" or some shit like that. It has a girl singing. It sounds like a musical song, and it's so out of place. But the "Waiting for You" song, there's some lines in it where I'm like, this sounds a little incel-y at some points. Like into listening to it today. There's a whole line where it's all like, "I bet you that guy's just a friend" or whatever, and I'm like, "Oh, bro, you're one of those."
No.
Okay, never mind.
I thought it was gonna be like "So Sad," like because like that song "So Sad" by Ellegarden is like, I get it. Like he broke, but it's just like the whole entire time you're just like, "I want you back." I'm just like, dude, it's okay. Like I was like, it's just I think it's just a little too forward with the lyrics. I'm just like, dude, you could like, it's okay to be sad someone broke up with you, but you're just like, "But I still think you're mine." Like, no.
If you ever,
but I get it.
If you ever listen to my main drunk playlist, that song's on there because it's still a great emo sounding song. But if you listen too closely, you're like, I kind of get why Weezer doesn't like this whole album anymore. I still fucking love "The Great Life" though. The fucking "Great Life's" an amazing song. Fuck you, Rivers Cuomo, for not liking it. And El Scorcho, I fucking love El Scorcho. With its first line being problematic, and I'm not going to say that line, but go Google El Scorcho lyrics, and you're going to be all like, "Oh, okay."
I'm going to throw this out here. Sublime's 40 ounces to freedom.
Oh my god! See, I was going to talk. Ooh,
but it's okay. That's all I wanted to throw out there. No, that's all I want to throw out there. I'm just going to throw that out there because I know that everyone like that you guys would appreciate it.
It's on my extras list, and it's funny because that's no skip, kinda. Because like I actually personally I like it, but I can understand why people would want to skip the thanks track at the end, where it's all like. But that's a funny because all these jokes in that one too. It's all like so and so checks in the mail, guys. It's like, it's called Thanks Dub, I think, and yeah, but that album's fucking amazing.
According to the track listing on Wikipedia, it's just "Thanks" with an X.
Oh, the fucking
bro, it's 6 minutes long. Holy shit! It's like so fucking long.
The sad thing about 40 ounces is freedom. Okay, I'm not gonna have the discussion about whether that song could be listened to today, and I'm not gonna say what the song is. But there's a song on the album that's like their best known song from the album, one of their best known songs, period, at the time. That is a song that's hard to talk about today. Look up the track listing; you'll see the one I'm talking about. You don't need.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I know the one you're talking about.
I love that song, and the song is not what you think it is. Like, look at the lyrics. The song is not what you think it is. It's not about like glorifying. It's literally about like, you know. And I know this is probably another hot take about like, oh, you shouldn't be singing about that either. But the song is basically like, in a perfect world, this guy got his comeuppance. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and now the music video too.
Yes.
And the music video.
Just because they also had a guy who was then.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything about that age bad. Fuck him. Anyway.
Yes.
Well, I was gonna quote the song, but I ain't about to do that. It's a line that would fit perfectly, but I'm not gonna say it. Anyways.
I can't take pity on men of his kind. Let's just say that.
Yes, there you go. I can't take pity on a man of his kind. You go look up the rest. Anyways. But yeah, that's a great album. Also, their self-titled one's really good too.
Yeah. I was gonna bring up Sublime too. Sublime is one of my favorite bands. I mean, the Sublime, the album as well.
Yeah, it's a great album.
Sublime. Leslie over here. She's over here. I was like, no, Leslie, Sublime. She's like, Sublime.
Because it's got What I Got. It's got Wrong Way. Got Santeria. Pawn Shop. Seed.
Seed. That's
Caress Me Down and Doing Time.
Down here at the pawn shop. Oh, the whole album's great. Oh my god, Santeria. That's like me and Warren's like, don't practice Santeria. Ain't got.
Yes, I remember from the Anime Expo room.
Oh man, I'm the golden era. It's funny because I don't know if people really know CDs anymore, but the CD of Sublime, the self-titled one, is like this clown-looking, hobo-looking guy, and I mean like hobo as in like a traditional depiction of a hobo, if you know what I mean. And he's like drinking like a bottle, like, you know, a 40 or whatever. I know that sounds like 40 ounces, but this is the Sublime one. And whenever I see like that CD itself is iconic to me because growing up in the ghetto in the 90s, you saw that CD everywhere.
I thought the Sublime album was just the picture of Bradley's back with his tattoo of Sublime on it.
No, that's the album, but the CD, that's like the physical disc.
Okay.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like the
cover
back is the album cover.
rather than the printed on the actual disc.
Yeah, the actual disc. Like, and honestly, the funny thing was the disc doesn't say what it is, so that's actually why it's so iconic. Because I always see that around like my friends' houses, and you know, fucking ghetto people, they don't put their shit back in the case. It's just like stacks the discs everywhere.
You put it, and then you're trying to find it, and then you have to look through the whole CDs, and then like right when you're about to put it in, you better hope like it's not scratched. You're over here like, fuck.
Leslie called you a hater. Sublime, man.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, there's a fucking CD.
That
is awesome.
Oh yeah, though there is one I forgot to put on no skips because I got skipped.
Oh, what is it?
And I talked about it last time.
My bad.
Nevermind.
Nirvana?
Yeah, Nirvana's like one of my top 5 bands.
Don't get me wrong, and it's funny because if Andrew if I yell at me for saying this, I don't think Nevermind. First of all, I think I prefer In Utero to Nevermind. Yeah, I'm one of those fucking people. But Nevermind has the second half curse that I was talking about earlier. Maybe that's just me.
Man, like they lost the plot.
Yeah, I'm actually figuring out what the Lounge Act's pretty. I'm actually looking at the track list right now. Lounge Act and Stay Away are good, but everything after Polly, in my opinion, is skippable. Except for definitely Stay Away, but Lounge Act's pretty good. But the rest of it, I'm like, literally. But like the first half though, it's fucking slaps. The Smelting Teen Spirit, Polly, Lithium, Come As You Are,
Lithium.
Mm-hmm.
In Bloom, Lithium's great.
Breed.
In Bloom.
You don't like Drain You?
No, I can't. To be fair, like I don't remember how Drain You sounds. Maybe I do. See, these are the songs that I've never listened to them really. So yeah, the second half of the album, I'm like, At least when you listen to In Utero, it all feels like it goes together. Yeah, I don't know.
Like but the theme is right.
Yeah, I'm also not the biggest Nirvana fan. Not to say they're not great; they're fucking amazing. But I'm just not a big Nirvana fan. Cue Angie yelling at me about that. It's funny because when we were talking about like new albums, I wanted to mention like Ghost, this prequel, but that similar to the Animus thing. No, similar to the Animus thing, where I feel Animus is one of the great no skip album today. Would I still feel that way in 5 years? Prequel was the album that came out in 2018. I want to say, I don't remember exactly. But that album came out aroundish then. But now that I hear it today, I will definitely skip some of those tracks, even though there are some bangers on it, like Dance Macabre and Rats and so on. But yeah, there are some that I'll skip today. Oops. This is the piss off Angie section, huh?
Oh no, I was looking at what Wesley said. I was like, yeah, you missed it. We were talking about American Idiot at the start of the show.
Yeah. American Idiot's a great album, because especially if you listen to the song American Idiot, like, if you listen to it now, if it got released today and people were all like, "Oh, this was about Trump," this is about Biden, this is about Trump, it could be about anyone, and you could just attach it all to the same thing, you know.
I mean, you did hear about it when Trump was making his visit to the UK, and they basically tried to get it back onto the charts, and it got to somewhere in the top 20.
So yeah, by the way, I'm not saying like, oh, you know, I'm just saying like that song is like literally like the epitome of like kind of a timeless song. Yeah, like you could just keep attaching that. I'm sure there'll be a point where it stops being relevant.
Of every fucking error.
Yeah. And somebody, whether it's you or the person who thinks the other way of you, somebody will fucking be like, this song's about today. So it's one of those.
Like,
and
right?
Not a lot of songs are like that.
They also have like that. You know that one of the songs that I really. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone likes this. What's Her Name?
Oh, What's Her Name? What's Her Name is my fucking. That's if sad Manuel wants to be a sad drunk, get What's Her Name, get fucking like I Don't Love You, the My Chemical Romance song or whatever.
I'll sing that song to Leslie.
Oh yeah.
If I wasn't singing it to her, I was just singing it. We're on the phone together. That's fucking sketchy as fuck. Okay, continue. I love you, Leslie. Don't listen to my antics.
But yeah, there's some great songs.
She's my sugar mama. If I say anything bad, she's
gonna cut you off. Like, no, I have an expensive lifestyle.
My CFO money.
Oh my god, I didn't want to mention this real fast. Let's say we're running out of time. I wanted to make sure I mentioned this before we end up running out of time. That I did want to talk. The weird, because we're kind of on topic now. I wanted to mention how Iced Earth would have made it in so many no skip albums a few years ago. We talked about this before we went live, but I just wanted to mention it like on the air. Like, first of all, before I even say anything else, if you're gonna go listen to Iced Earth, I implore you to either not do it today or go find a way, like get an ad blocker and listen to it on YouTube, or like, you know, download it illegal. I don't fucking care. Come after me, John Schaefer. You're gonna be in federal prison soon. So yeah, don't give him a dime. But I did fucking think that for the longest time, for many years, I was like, oh, there's so many great albums here, and then it's not that the music is aged badly, because the music from his main band didn't have any weird shit. Like, he did a really good album called the band Iced Earth did an album called The Glorious Burden, which was about the title and some of the songs were about the Civil War. Surprisingly, he was not glorifying the South in this, which blows my mind. Maybe he hasn't drank that much of the Kool-Aid yet. But it had songs like about Attila, about like Waterloo and so on. There's some other great tracks on there. He had a song called The Horror Show. An album called The Horror Show that has songs about Frankenstein and Dracula and the Wolfman and Jack the Ripper and fucking the creature from the Black Lagoon and so on. But then he went off the deep end and like decided to join the Oath Keepers and like storm the fucking U.S. Capitol on January 6th.
Not just that, he is a founding lifetime member.
He is. No, the funny thing is that he went witness against the Oath Keepers, and like he took a plea bargain where he would go witness. Still, like, he's gonna get some years in prison, like, period, because he took a plea bargain. So he's going to prison eventually, but I'm like, bro, it's like, imagine being
yeah, exactly. Bitch, but like, what a fucking fucking honestly, rat.
Imagine being a traitor 2 times over. If you're gonna fucking,
it's like
at least fucking have some. And I know that sounds weird, but
like some fucking dignity.
And it's like, just take what you got to do with the Oath Keepers, because he's not really changing his viewpoint. He's just trying to save his ass at this point. He's still kind of like saying his fuck shit, and he's still. And by the way, he's still releasing Iced Earth shit. He has no band; it's just him. But he's like releasing live albums and stuff as Iced Earth. But it's just him, like, you know, speaking, because he doesn't have a band. Like literally, he has a spoken word Iced Earth album where he's speaking over the original songs. It's a weird.
What if he just like? He's just making prison music. It's just his voice. He's just making like he's talking. He's doing like was it spoken word, and then all the instruments is literally just his voice.
Yeah. But
so we're this topic now.
It's an interesting fall from grace. I just thought that was interesting. It's like there's not a lot of bands like that where I think that like, because there's some bands that kind of go a little weird, but it's like, okay, you didn't fucking storm the Capitol. I can still kind of like, I could try my hardest to separate you from the music. You know what I mean? But this fucker, it's like, yeah, man. It's like, you know what the funny thing is? This is a funny story. I don't think I've ever mentioned before. Is that my very first YouTube channel that I used to upload like music? I used to upload like bass covers on there, shit like that too. And AMVs and shit like that. I think we did a cover. Well, I don't remember if it was AMV or a bass cover of an Iced Earth song, or several of them actually. And eventually, whoever the fuck owned their music got my YouTube channel taken down, my original old school YouTube channel, and none of that shit's backed up. So all that's lost media. Manuel's my reaction to Two Girls One Cup is lost because I started.
Riv. No, lost media.
Anyways, do you have any other like really interesting? I guess it doesn't get much worse than that.
Yeah,
like, what other music would you like stop listening to, like, for whatever reason? Like, I don't think it gets
that I would stop listening to.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything like that except for Iced Earth. I'm like, yeah, I can't really good faith listen.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, like, if we're gonna get into the weeds, I mean, we talk about this so much. Like, it's kind of like pointless. It's just we're just talking about it in public now.
What?
Like, I'm literally gonna repeat it. Remember, me and Manuel have DMs about this all the time. I fucking love Pantera.
Oh, well, see, Pantera's a little different, and like, where it's
they didn't do like
they haven't done anything. Well, they've done stupid shit.
Yes, there's some dumb shit that they have done. I will fucking agree.
But they haven't done anything extremely
like storming the fucking Capitol and then fucking chewing it up.
My only big gripe about Pantera, and it's funny because technically they have no control over this, so I know it's a weird thing to get mad at them about, is that there's all these memes about, like, you seen the memes? I shared memes with you where it's all like,
oh,
me says I don't like Pantera, and it's like my comment, and it's all these like racist. I won't go into detail, but yeah, and it's like oh, it's funny because there's people who meme about this, and it's true. So on one hand, like, it definitely is a soundtrack to a certain type of person, but also I know
it brings certain type of people, like,
yeah. But I also know people like you who definitely aren't like that, but they like Pantera. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it's angry white boy music. That's what I always call it.
Like, I was gonna say, like, my Mother No Skip was good. Like, I like Vulgar Display of Power a lot. That's my other No Skip album. But, you know, it's like, I just didn't want, that was kind of typical of me. Because, I mean, for me, what you guys know from me, it's like, it's kind of typical. So I was kind of like, get out of that. I think I really like Rosenfeld.
Oh, I think a YouTuber did a video on them recently. I think YouTube, like, you know, Weeb YouTube finally discovered Rosenfeld and Rommel, and they did. If you don't know who these bands are, but you could probably guess by Rommel if you know history, like where they named their band from.
Yeah, I was about to say
the Desert Fox.
Yes.
Yeah, but mind you, their music's not about that. It's just the imagery part. So it's kind of like, it's like, look how edgy we are. But still, yeah.
It's like, it still does not age nice.
Yeah,
not age nice. It doesn't age. It hasn't aged well.
I mentioned it before. There was this band that I saw recently, and I showed it to Warren. I remember because, like, there was this band that's like, I forgot what the fuck they're. I won't even. If I remember, I still won't say the name. So don't go look it up. There was this cool little hardcore band.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they had the funny cheesy video, and I was sharing it to Warren. It only had like 1,000 views. I'm like, look how great this band is. It's fucking amazing. They're like a hardcore band. And then I was even telling Warren as I did this, like, I'm always so scared to discover hardcore bands, especially when they're really hardcore, really underground. I'm like, they're gonna fucking have, imagery that's cool on their shit. I know it.
Yeah.
So I googled the guy, and he was in a band that was like, yeah,
he's a sympathizer.
Yeah, and I'm like,
we know we're getting at.
One of the
Manuel is like, abort.
Yeah. I was like, Warren, don't listen to them anymore. I'm done.
That's what I did too. Like when I found out about this band called Terror, and I was just like, I don't know, man. I guess I'll check it out. And people are like, and I went to Reddit. They're like, I guess this is pretty okay. There's another band that I've gotten into called Madball, which is like a late 80s, early 90s like hardcore band. And I was like, oh man, please don't be some weird Nazi shit. And then actually the lead singer is he's Puerto Rican, and he actually does hip hop music, and he does it in Spanish.
No,
not Puerto Rican. He's Cuban. So like Freddie Madball, that's his name. But yeah, he's hella they're chill.
Okay, they're not doing that shit. But yeah, so TLDR, there are some bands that are weird, like. Don't Meet Your Heroes everyone. Well, I don't know. These aren't like my favorites.
That's true.
Fun fact.
I mean, like
when we used to do panels at A to J, like for Visual K, I put it in the 18+ one, not in the regular one. We would talk about the imagery that a lot of these bands have, and for the record, it's not just these bands that are like being more overt. There's so many bands that are mainstream, like Gact, fucking Kichidon, fucking Hyde, who've used the imagery just for fun. It's like, guys, Japan, especially Japan. Come on, guys. No, don't do this. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, okay. So my point is like, my point to bringing that up is like, if you dig too deep, especially in like most Japanese like artists that have been around for a while, like rock or VK ones especially, you'll probably discover some awkward pictures.
Very unsavory, some unsavory things.
Obviously we don't support it. You heard all the shit we talked about fucking the Oath Keepers earlier. But anyways, we'll wrap it up. Any last albums or bands or any stuff you won't listen to anymore, JD, that you probably did before that might be a little awkward today, JD?
Yeah, I'm thinking. There's definitely some I've stopped listening to as much. Van Morrison.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there's a whole different breed of artists if we're going to get into just some of the weird shit they said, because like, I'm like, do I stop listening to Bryan Adams or Eric Clapton now?
Yeah, Eric Clapton's on there too.
Remember?
Don't
what did Bryan Adams say?
Warren made a joke about Eric Clapton, and I'm like, don't you say that live. Anyway, and mind you, it was a joke. Like,
you said it live. I've said it live before. It was not a good. I'll tell you when there's something you cannot fight fire with fire.
Eric Clapton has done some fuck shit. He said some fuck shit. Mind you, it was a long time ago, but it's kind of thing when you say something that obscene, it's hard to ever look back. It's hard to ever get beyond that.
Yeah, sorry. You said Bryan Adams. What did he do?
Oh, Bryan Adams during the lockdown. See, he didn't do anything racist, but during the lockdown, he's one of those people who's all like, science, don't wear masks, blah blah blah. Yeah, and it's like it's like I fucking love Bryan Adams. He does that. All for One, and nobody remembers that song. All for One. That's a song he did with Sting, and I can't remember who the third one was. The one for Three Musketeers. He also does Everything I Do, I Do It For You.
Yeah, I just know Summer '69, so I'm.
Oh, of course. My first real 6-string over at the 5.
Bought it at the 5 and dime. Played it until my fingers bled. It was a summer '69.
'69, yeah, there you go. There's some really good covers of that song you can listen to elsewhere. I thought you said Ryan Adams. Who's Ryan Adams?
Yeah, who's Ryan Adams? Right.
But
wait,
one of my favorite.
There's a Ryan Adams.
One of my favorite vocalists is this guy named Joe Lynn Turner. He's sung for Yngwie Malmsteen. By the way, Yngwie Malmsteen's a little problematic these days too. But
is he?
Yeah. Well, he's been problematic for a while. He's one of those people who got mind you, I say one of those because a lot of rock stars have done this in the past, where he gets custody of his future wife when they're not of age yet.
Oh,
Yeah, like fucking guy from Aerosmith did this too. A lot of musicians do this.
Steven Tyler did that.
Steven
Yeah,
Tyler
that
did
was
that. Yeah. So
I think you know who.
Huh? Who?
MGK was just like, he was talking about that. He's like, yeah, everybody, like, he's like, I'm okay with Andre. I'm waiting until she turns 18, but like fucking Steven Tyler does like, dude, that does not make it good. You fucking idiot. Like,
remember when MGK
like,
brought back Pop Punk?
Emo girl.
Oh, right.
I clearly missed some joke I haven't.
Okay. We're talking about MGK and bringing back pop punk. Or no, I'll make it better. He invented pop punk.
Yeah, he invented. I like how I googled Ryan Adams. He is a musician, but yeah, apparently he's according to Terrence, he's a scumbag. I'm not gonna lie, he looks like one just in the picture. I hate to judge people like that quickly.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, Machine Gun Kelly or
oh yes. Yeah, Machine Gun Kelly. MGK,
yeah, you just kept saying MGK. I was like,
does he have a real name? Is his name?
Yes,
like, hi, Machine
Colson something.
He does.
Other. Oh, hi, Mr. Machine Gun. Is your first name Machine?
Colton Baker.
Oh God, I changed my name too. If that was my name, not because it's a bad name, but just such a milquetoast name like Colton Baker.
Okay, Manuel.
It's not like it's just a regular ass guy. Like just
let's wrap up.
Yeah, we'll probably do this again. This is actually a bunch of shit. Like, I honestly maybe we'll have someone else on. Fun fact: I wanted to have like, not to say like having Warren on wasn't fun too, but yeah, I want to have Rose on because Rose has some very different music tastes than like all of us. Like Rose, she's one of those people who like will listen to like the most obscure shoegaze band you've ever heard in your life. So I wanted her on just so she could specifically list bands that none of us know, which I think we kind of did an okay job with that on our own too. Like Speed sounds cool. I looked up Speed while you were talking about them, and I booked. You could buy their album on Bandcamp for $6. I'll probably buy that on Bandcamp Friday, the next one or whatever. So yeah, when is that every Friday? I don't know how Bandcamp works. I'm not a Bandcamp person.
Man, it was just like, is that every Friday?
That's the most boomer thing I've ever said in my life, isn't it? I don't think it's every Friday. I think it's only like one Friday, the last Friday of the month or some shit like that. Because it happens like enough. It happens often enough. I see it a lot, but it definitely doesn't happen once a week.
Man, he was just checking every week. He's like, I thought it said Friday. Didn't it say Friday?
Yeah, fun fact, if you don't know what Bandcamp Friday is, if you have an artist, a favorite artist on Bandcamp that you want to support, Bandcamp Friday is a day where you could buy their music, and I think 100% of the money goes to them. Like Bandcamp like waives all their fees. So yeah. So that's usually the best day if you want to like support your favorite artist. Fun fact, I don't know if anyone would do that. So go look up what it is, because I don't really know. It's on a Friday. I just don't know which one.
Only there are a major Friday in November for shopping.
You just got to catch it.
Yeah.
Fridays.
Every Friday, go to bandcamp.com. I don't even know if that's the website. Shut up. I'm gonna stop listening to me. Anyways, I'll start wrapping up. We have the Pixie interview. Go check out their music too. I listen to them for the sake of the interview, and they're pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of K-pop in general, but what I do listen to is a lot of like the more different girl group type stuff that's not like straight pop, and they do have a much different like rougher sound. Like they have a lot of horror-y type elements, like horror. Watch what I say. Horror. Yes, horror. I did it again. Anyways, horror. They have horror elements. Check them out. Check out the interview. That's on once again, if you want to support us on Patreon, patreon.com/A2J-Connections. There's 3 more interviews that are exclusive there. I have a writing that's going to go up tomorrow morning. The only reason it didn't go up tonight is because now it's too late. I don't like posting it like middle of the night posts. So I'll do it tomorrow morning. I already did it. I just forgot to post it earlier. And there'll be more stuff on the Patreon soon. Like I'm thinking about putting other exclusive shit, like some of the girls' lives, like only because fucking Koto has been like taking them all down on YouTube. So I'm probably gonna upload them on the site itself and just put them as a Patreon exclusive. I mean, I'd say it's honestly the big reason about Patreon is to support us, but you also get some perks, some exclusives, and some early access. And but
thank you to our current patrons.
Yes, Ed and Kenneth, Rappa, please come back. We love you. We miss you. Don't make us put you on a milk carton. And
Yeah, we're doing that for Nyaru.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Nyara made partner. I don't think we're ever going to see her again. I say that as a joke. I really don't know. She has expressed coming back, so we'll see her we'll see her at least once before the break is done. I will make her come back before the break is done. Before the break happens, as in the winter break we always have for New Year's and Christmas. But and ALA, because those all come back back to back. I need time off so I could drink, recover, and
drink some more.
What is it that what is that King Robert Baratheon said? I gotta eat, drink, and whore myself into an early grave.
Something like that.
Yes, I've been watching Game of Thrones again recently, so it's fresh in mind. Anyways, thank you, Warren, for being here. Thank you, JD.
You're welcome, my guy.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Comment, subscribe. And,
what are we doing for the rest of the week?
Oh, I forgot. So tomorrow we're playing more Wild Arms 2. I promise we work control later. Just once again, the week got away from me. I did remember enough to look up the shit we need to do for Wild Arms 2, so we'll definitely do that. We'll finish the fucking power shit we're doing right now in the game if you're following that. Friday's Drink Talk Roll. We're continuing the Bastard Business or the Eterna campaign or whatever. So tune into that. That's tomorrow at 5 and then Friday at 6:30 ish. We've been on time lately, so 6:30 I should say. Yeah,
we've been pretty on time.
Yeah, we've been on time, so hopefully this actually starts 6:30. Just tune in, and then next Tuesday will be another UPZ. I don't think we have a topic yet, but we'll
figure it out.
Cool one. Yeah, we'll figure it out, and that's it. Peace out. Thank you.
Bye. Good night.